Hello, thank you for joining me. So today is the 2nd of February 2022. So all the twos are lined up. It's a wonderful portal today. And I thought I'd talk about for what is literally the biggest transit of the year. And so in Vedic astrology, Sidereal Zodiac, we have had Saturn sitting in Capricorn since 24th of January 2020, making everybody scared, terrible times, stuff like that around the world. And it is still in Capricorn and has been sitting in a nakshatra or a fixed star called Shravana for quite a long time, and it did retrograde in it last year for a few months and then went direct again in Shravana. And Shravana is a very, very soft nakshatra, very soft 13 degrees 20 of, because I use equal signs, so they're all 30 degrees. So this is bang in the middle of the Capricorn. And it's ruled by the moon, so it's quite soft, and it's had this heavy planet sitting on it. And obviously moon is the mind, the masses, it's how we feel, it's our happiness, and so it's been difficult for everybody around the world. However, the energy will be changing from the 18th of February. And I know in the meanwhile we've had a new moon yesterday, and we have got like a full moon on the 16th of February. But for me personally, I think it's a really good time now to start putting behind us all the stuff that's gone on, because we've learned a lot about the world, about ourselves, about our friends, about our family during this time. And it's time to, it's been difficult, but it's also really created a lot of awakening around the world, and questioning, awareness, things like that. So now, as from the 18th of February, Saturn will be traveling into Sidereal, still in Sidereal Capricorn, but in the degrees of another nakshatra called Dhanishta. Dhanishta is ruled by Mars, so this brings the flavors of Saturn and also Mars. And as Saturn will be traveling to very close to 28 degrees of Capricorn, where Mars is actually exalted, so there's going to be this magnificent energy. People are going to feel really much more determined, and it's going to things that we've been thinking about, we're going to start putting some form or structure into them. So I just think, for me, astrology is all about opportunities, and it's not about sitting down and just like constantly feeling sorry for ourselves about this particular conjunction, this aspect. I've got this in this house. How will my husband? We can make all of these things either limit us or be empowered and move forward. So my whole message to you is this is an extremely powerful time coming up. So don't sit back. Make the most of it. That will be my message. So I just want to go through a few things first of all. Obviously, let's talk about Saturn first. Saturn is obviously a very slow moving, and it's literally was in Capricorn, Sidereal Capricorn, about 28-30 years ago. So it moves very slowly through this, and it's its transits for each and every one of us are significant, because it's literally we're working through all our karmas. So let's start with the indications of Saturn. What does the planet actually tell us? So as you know, Saturn is obviously the actual planet itself. It's obviously round, but it has this ring of boundaries around it. It's a little bit like when you get married and you put your ring on, and that is the limitation. That is your boundaries of marriage. So Saturn is our boundaries, and it's our limitations. So these are my key words for this planet. So it is planet of reality, patience, responsibility, duty, commitments, reliability, endurance, steadfastness, serious side of life, hard work, karmic accountant, service, doing the right thing by everyone, by yourself, by your family, by your spouse, and to the society and extended family and friends. It's about your community, your boundaries, being real, being grounded, knowing your limitations, knowing your limits, misery, sickness, loneliness, lack, death, endings, community, as I said, and also community responsibility, really. Working with others, being poor, being disabled, homeless, unfortunate things, you know. And it's about prep work, foundations, keeping your head above the water, trying to deal with life's realities, really. And this is literally makes you work sometimes with challenges of Saturn. You feel as though you're almost about to sink, like, you know, drown. You know, this is just an example, for example. And just before you drown, you get rescued. This is how it is. It's pain, despair, fear, worry, not having, and also all kinds of things that are just a little bit more serious. Wherever we are, we have Saturn in our chart. It's where we have a responsibility. We are serious about it, particularly where it sits. And Saturn, as you know, it has 3 aspects. It has a third aspect, which is all about like putting effort into that, hard work, really knowing really planning. This is like third house, and it's upachaya, so it does get better with time, but it's definitely all about kind of thinking, processing the information, doing, you know, putting effort every day, being brave, and tackling that area of life is going to be really, really, really important. So in the actual natural zodiac, which will be like Aries ascendant, that would mean that from there, from where Saturn was sitting, was actually aspecting what would be like 12th house, which would be like spirituality, you know, putting effort into like thinking beyond the reality of life, thinking, you know, retracting. This is Pisces, retracting from the world, thinking, being pensive, less doing, and, you know, just like really thinking in order to be connecting with source, taking time out to rejuvenate, and allowing the universe to communicate with us, really, because this also has a communication. And during this time, we probably will find that we have got better at it as well. So that could also play a big part in this as well. The other thing is, obviously, from there also it has been aspecting our and also just going back, it's also completions. So although it has been difficult for us to think about things and being more focused during this time, because it's been sitting in nakshatra of the moon, which is really all about our mind, our feelings. So because we probably all of us, I mean, I don't know about you, but me and a few of my friends, we all say this, we have had little focus, and it's just like our mind just been like dabbling in different things, can't like commit to things 100%. So it's just been very much about like it's been difficult to be like the proper Capricorn that you want to be, really, because of this really, really heaviness sitting on this part of the zodiac, basically. So yes, it has been. So it's just literally has made us like what it has done is like, through communicating with our own self during sleep, we have actually have had the great awakening, because we've been processing the information we've been hearing. much more in our dreams, in our sleeps. We've been getting messages from above. Shravana is very good. You can still utilize this until the 18th, where if you have any troubles, you say it loud before you go to bed, and in the morning, you know, it's almost like your angels have communicated in your ear during the night, because obviously the symbol for this is the ear, and you know what to do. It really is helpful to do that. So the other aspect that we have had also from this, it's been aspect in the 4th house of the Cancer. And wherever Cancer is in your chart is where we are emotionally connected into that house. So, and I mean, I will do, this video is very much about like this transit. Tomorrow I'll do another one which will be all about the this transit into Dhanishta for different ascendants. And so what will happen is with the 7th one, it's actually Saturn is telling us about the how we have a responsibility to our spouse, to our business partners, and also to the community, really, because it's other people, how we have that responsibility, sense of it's not just about us, it's about them. And the other aspect of Saturn is the 10th house, which is all about all the karmas we are actually here to work through and pay back to the society. So this is working, giving back to our community, and dealing with our sort of authority, bosses. And by, you know, doing that, we're also looking after our family because of the money we are actually producing through our hard work. This is where the hard work of the bears fruit, in a sense. So I just thought, you know, let's have a look and just see. So Saturn in Shravana, we had Saturn was in Shravana, you know, most of last year basically, and it also went retrograded in there on the 22nd of May at 19 degrees 21 on the 22nd of May. So it's very interesting because this is exactly the most sort of poison. It's almost like a very difficult part is what will be like the Vishanadi of this nakshatra, all nakshatra, well, not all of them, but they do have a portion which is a degree or so, which is very, very difficult, very poisonous. And where Saturn was actually retrograding back, it was in the first pada, but in the Vishanadi, which is really very, very difficult, and it was sitting there for a while. And so it's like literally poison, you know. I don't want to say it anymore because I don't want my video to be taken down. So I leave that with you. So yeah, literally means poison. It's a very difficult part, and it can make you feel really miserable, lacking, difficult, despair, really having hard thoughts, you know, really very, very, very emotional. And it then did go direct on sort of 10th or 11th of October, depending on where you were in the world at that time. And so, yes, and so with where it was actually retrograde, when it first started retrograding on 22nd of May, the part of that will end up, because, you know, like wherever, so basically what happens is whatever degree, say, for example, you know, like we see in the D9, the Navamsha, the exact like power of any planet, by looking at that to see where they are. Say, for example, you could have an exalted, you know, like you could have Venus, say, in, you know, like Uttara Bhadrapada or something, you know, exalted in your D1. And then when you look at it, it's actually debilitated in D9. It's in Virgo. So, you know, we want to see how strong a planet is. So that gives you a little bit of information as well about what's going on. So at that degree, as 19 degrees 21 of Shravana in Capricorn, it will end up in in Gemini in the D9. So it means that everything that we were being communicated about at that time was really about fear, communication, media, social media, all that kind of thing was all about that difficult degree, which we said, which is very inauspicious, and it's actually also giving us all this information because it goes into Gemini. It's all about information. It was all like, difficulties, more fear, and then obviously what happens is, but at the same time we had Jupiter as well retrograde during, then after that, started to go direct on the 10th or 11th. Saturn. I'm talking about Saturn now. Started to go direct, and it was at say about 12 degrees 46, something like that, and then we had Jupiter retrograding in Dhanishta, very close to the 28 degrees in the second pada of Dhanishta Nakshatra, and that was, so Jupiter was actually helping Saturn at the time because it was getting very close to the degrees Mars is exalted. So we had that support at the same time. So, but nonetheless though, also even Jupiter, if you looked at it in the D9, would end up in Virgo. So again, was again, we're reviewing all this stuff to do with health and healing and everything in Virgo. So there was very, very confusing time last year. So I am really glad that we're coming out of Shravana now. Saturn in Shravana is just so heavy. Now on the 18th, what happens is we literally go into Saturn goes into Dhanishta on the 18th. So that will be just so amazing because Shravana is all about listening, listening more than talking. So, all these kind of things going on. More about intuition really, and now Dhanishta is completely different, whereas Shravana is about feeling. Now Saturn will be going in a nakshatra which is all about doing because it's ruled by Mars, and it's partially in Capricorn, and the other part is in Aquarius. So it's a very sort of determined nakshatra, and Saturn does extremely well in this. So this Dhanishta flavor is all about overcoming obstacles, optimism, doing, achieving, realizing our power, being resourceful, building, intelligence, problem solving, also looking and being given to other people as well. And it gives us more confidence, and we become much more outgoing because during the time with Saturn being in Shravana, we've all retracted back from the world a little bit, and now it's time to go out. We become much more like go-getters of life. We want more structure in our life, more planning, more doing. So it will be amazing. So as we gain momentum with that, and obviously what will happen is Saturn will start working its way through this nakshatra. We become much more aware of ourselves, our power, our community, and things that we need to get. Whilst we've been thinking about things in Shravana, we put them into action now, and this is going to be just amazing. And so. And the good thing is as well, all those degrees are going to be that Saturn is, working towards exaltation degrees of 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is the exaltation of Mars. It just means that we have more, we feel more supported in a sense, because it won't be long before Mars itself will be joining that degree. So Mars will be just making sure all the sort of all the detail is logically put together. And actually Saturn itself becomes much more logical in this nakshatra too. So this is what I wanted to just point out. So for me, this is a really, really important, probably the most important thing that's going to happen this year. And we've already noticed that a lot of restrictions are one by one coming away, dissolving around the world. In the UK, most things have been, abolished as such. But I would still be aware, because you can't really trust the governments really. And so they tell you one thing, but they're actually, if you read the detail, there are other things that are restricting. So they give you this, but, so you want to just be aware that's what's going on. However, people are going to get their power in a massive way. And obviously, the other issue is that Mars and Venus are working traveling very close to each other. So we all need to do that. We need to just be aware not to actually, because obviously Mars is a very key sort of planet for this transit of Saturn in Dhanishta, being the nakshatra ruler. So we want to make sure we don't over-exercise. We don't want to do too much to exhaust ourselves, because this is our energy level, Mars, and we want to just reserve it and use it appropriately. However, having said that, I just think that more and more things are going to, more and more countries will benefit from this, and in the UK as well. Saturn has been sitting, because UK is Virgo ascendant. This has been sitting on our 5th house of fun and romance and everything. And people just really lost that romantic thing about themselves. So once Saturn goes into the 6th house of UK, that it will actually get rid of a lot of stuff too. But it kind of also, the Saturn, when it transits, it also makes you really appreciate things, and makes you really set certain boundaries with yourself as well. Because I think we, sometimes with fear, we can lose our own boundaries, and we can give in to things without thinking them out. So this has been really good for everybody. It's a really big learning curve, and we can pass that on to children or maybe grandchildren, to just let them know not to overreact to any information that we hear through media. Just wait and just see the basis of it as well. So that would be very, very good. But for me, I can see that now that as Saturn is traveling through Dhanishta, on the 30th of April, it will be going, on the 13th actually, just before that, the nodes change sign. And that will be the very, very beginning of knowing that things are coming to a halt with the whole pandemic stuff. And then when Saturn comes out on the 30th of April, comes out of Capricorn and goes into Aquarius, I think that will be the end of it. Even though I'm sure, just like anything, these people sell us a computer, put a virus in it, and then we need to buy the program to get rid of that. So, we know the tricks now. So we know not to give in, and just be much more using the intelligence and logic, and just don't listen to all of their things. Don't listen or don't believe. This has been, I guess, a learning curve for all of us to, and this has caused a lot of issues with families and friendship groups and things. So, where we've maybe have been a bit judgmental about things like that, and realised and just make amends with people, because Saturn is all about community, and it's okay to just be humble. That's because that's another quality of Saturn, is to be humble and actually apologise, and it doesn't matter. It's not about being right at all. It's about being happy, and that is above everything else. And I do wish you a happy February, and I will do the ascendants tomorrow on tomorrow's video. Thank you very much for watching.